Hi, bestie.
Bestie, I have a special guest, and her name is Bella.
I do got a guest. Guess who it is?
Kiki.
No.
Ebony Ray.
Yeah.
Bestie, did I tell you that the reason why we're recording today is because I can't record tomorrow because I gotta rewatch all of Bridgerton Season 3 Part 1.
Oh my god, fuck you.
Hey, are you a puppy? Are you a baby
What
girl?
the episode?
There's a boa head in my lap.
There.
Want me to start this?
Yes.
Okay, hello, welcome to Official Flower Podcast. I'm Flower, aka Rose, and my fun fact is that I started rewatching Gossip Girl. I've gotten further than I've ever gone before, which is past like episode 2 in season 2. Um,
Yeah, I know this.
and I am team Dan Humphrey deserves to burn. He's the worst character. Thank you very much. I don't like Dan Humphrey. Listen, Chuck in the first half of season 1 is kind of the worst. In the first few episodes is definitely the worst. Um, and they just pretend that wasn't a thing that happened in the first few episodes. But Dan is actually, if you ignore the issues like the writers want you to, Dan is actually the worst, and I hate him. Thank you. Good night.
Kiki, what do
We're
you
done.
got?
Bella's got a
got-
cheetah.
Kiki's doing her makeup. She's got a makeup sponge. It's gross and horrible and tore up. But she's got it. Don't you kidding?
Oh my god, are you sneak attacking my dog?
Can you hear her?
No, I can't.
She's fucking so loud. Kiki. Kiki. Anyways, my name is Fish, aka Stingray, and I don't know, I'm reading Tristic's Venom again. This is the third time I've read it.
It's my fault. I'm the one that bought it for you. Wait,
Well, let's read it anyways. I have it on my Kindle.
doesn't this mean 2 books in a row you are reading / rereading that I have given you?
What was the last one?
Evelyn Hugo.
Oh shit! Yeah, you're right. I'm fine. I'm so fine. Yeah.
The episode we're recording.
And the only book I've read this month is fucking Evelyn Hugo, and I started it in May. So I'm fine. I'm so fucking fine.
It took me 170 days or something to read it, so
it's 108.
All right, thank you for remembering. I wrote it down in the book or something, didn't I?
The first time you read it took you a day.
I know. Really tells you how my brain's been doing.
I agree.
This is a Stream of Conscious podcast, very similar to how we talk to each other on a daily basis. Today's episode is Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, a book on our list to do for this podcast since we started it.
Oh, so it's like a year and a couple months later that we're finally doing it?
Uh-huh.
I just recently reread it. Rose reread it over the course of months.
Yeah. Oh, for months. It was supposed to be your birthday present last year. Should have waited, and then it could have been your birthday present this year. If I hadn't planned it for Pride Month and making sure that you got it in time so that you could read it too, I totally would have done that as the joke. But instead you got as an Easter present. That's what the joke was, wasn't it?
Yep.
I took 0 notes, so there should be no excuse for how long it took me to reread it. Because SparkNotes has a whole entire thing on Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, which I find so funny.
Well, you did annotate it for me.
I did annotate it. A lot of my annotating is saying fuck every time they say Mick Riva's full name in the book. Because if you haven't listened to the Malibu Rising episode, which we did around this time last year, I want to say it was like August or September last year, I don't remember. And that was just like because things fell out for other books and we had to plug one in, and I had recently read that one and I managed to find a summary online for it.
But you read it because I told you to, didn't you?
No, I read it because I put it in my TBR jar because you told me to, and then I managed to pull it from my TBR jar, and so it was like a vlog book and everything.
Yeah.
And in the recording of that episode, I said "fuck Mick Riva" a lot. Now he happens to be a character in this book too. I kind of low-key want to read Carrie Soto. Like, there's nothing that says I would like Carrie Soto, except for the fact that I loved Malibu Rising, and she is a background character in Malibu Rising.
Yeah. Every
Like,
time I read a Taylor Jenkins read, I'm like, I don't really want to read this, but I'm going to read it for whatever reason. Then I read it, I'm like, oh my god, this was amazing. So, like,
that was me with Malibu Rising. Like, I really thought it wasn't going to be for me, everything I heard about it, and then I picked it up, and it was a 5-star read. So, I think this one's a 4-star. I don't remember. Let me check.
are
I'll do
you
it.
okay in your head?
I think
Did
the beginning.
everything go 4 stars?
I think us talking about how that it took me months um, to read this book. I think we can agree that we already went over the fact that no, I'm not okay in the head. Nobody's played Stardew Valley with me for a long time.
I'm sorry. I love you.
It's fine. I'm gonna start my own
I've
Riva.
never
I'll
read
reach
a book that
perfection.
someone annotated until you sent me a book that you annotated, and then I read it, and I feel like that made it worse. I feel like it made it hit harder, because, like, obviously, your annotations reflect your little brain, and I'm just like, oh my god.
um, yeah, I rated it 4 stars.
Are you okay?
I
That
did
should be a
cry more the
5 star.
second time around. I should state that. I was crying at the end because I knew it was coming, and I was just, ooh, the waterworks.
I was crying the whole time. Like,
I
literally,
my favorite part about you rereading it was you sending photos of the book to tell me what scene you were at, saying that you're crying, and then I could see my annotations in the book and laughing at the jokes I made in my annotations.
yeah.
Being like, wow, I'm so funny. Um. Anyways, this is our bi representation for the month, and I love this is the bi representation I needed. Actually, thank you for understanding. Um. Content warnings include, but not limited to, domestic abuse, homophobia, death, alcoholism, suicide, biphobia, abortion, cancer, car accident, um, suicide on the. Okay, so I did say suicide. I was like, that's another one.
Did you say racism?
Yeah, racism's one. I didn't say it, but it is definitely a one. So this is one of those books that has a book inside a book. Because this
Amazing.
also, on top of following Evelyn Hugo, is following a writer named Monique Grant. She wrote this big piece for a magazine a few years ago, um, and she got taken by another magazine, and she's recently going through a divorce/separation with her husband, and all this stuff is happening at once, right? She's trying to find out what she wants to do with her career at this point, and going through this hard time with her marriage because fact that she chose to switch to this other magazine, so she moved, and then her husband didn't want to move, so now they're separated, right? When she gets a call, or the magazine gets a call, that Evelyn Hugo, the famous actress who's 79 at this point, right? Who's most famous for having 7 husbands, hence the title of the book, right?
Oh,
Uh,
well.
yeah. She goes to the magazine, is like, hey, I will do piece an interview piece, which she never does interview pieces, right? Because she's auctioning off a bunch of her clothes for breast cancer, I believe, charity, right? And she requested Monique to be the one to write the article. So Monique goes to meet up with her. I'm doing this off the dome right now. I hope you're so proud. um,
Yeah.
but she goes to Evelyn's and Evelyn is very much the type who she wants is straight up. She doesn't want to like speak in riddles, blah blah blah. She wants what you have to say straight up, and all this stuff. And she offers Monique not an article, but a whole entire biography about her. Like her whole entire life story. All the dirty details. Everything. She doesn't care anymore. All her husbands are dead. Her daughter recently died of breast cancer in the past like 5 years, I wanna say.
I'm already crying.
I love that for you. So she wants to talk about it all, and she wants to give the story to Monique. Monique's like, why? And she just says that the article that she wrote previously that was big hitting, really showed that she cares, and that's who she wants to write her piece. But there's definitely something else going on there, and Monique just lets that slide. Now here's the thing. If she writes a biography about Evelyn Hugo and not the article for her work, there's like a whole issue where That's what she's hired for right now. And so, like, the whole thing is that Moody can't publish a biography until after Evelyn dies. And, like, there's no clue of when Evelyn's gonna die. It could be another decade. So if she loses her life, don't laugh because that's spoilers.
I hope that if you're listening to this episode, he's already read the fucking book. Like, what are we on about?
I know, right? This is one of the most popular books of, like, post-COVID, I want to say. I don't even know. Was it post-COVID? I think so. 2017, never mind. This came out the same year I graduated high school.
When was that?
2017.
What the fuck?
I know. It's been almost a decade. It's been 7 years.
Shut your fucking mouth.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't want to think about how it's been a decade since I graduated high school anyways, almost.
The way I was in middle school when you finished high school.
I'm sorry for your loss. Middle school is really...
I didn't make it through middle school.
I don't blame you. I almost didn't either.
No, literally, I was in the hospital at least 4 times my 7th grade year.
I was gonna make a suicide attempt joke, but I didn't. So we're just gonna.
I mean, technically.
No, I meant for me.
Oh.
Yeah. Middle school's a great time. I recommend it for everyone who wants to go through torture.
It goes both ways. Don't worry, just like you do.
Thank you. So if Evelyn doesn't, like, die for, like, 10 years, right? And she can't publish the biography, and then she can't hand in the article because there's no article, then she loses her job, and then she has no income, and then she has no income, but 2, what was her separation for? So she does eventually get Evelyn to agree to a basic interview that's basically pre-promotion for the book, that her bosses won't know about, and also for the charity auction, right? With, like, 1 or 2 photographs. So the book is organized. Both the book that Monique is writing, but also the actual book of 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, are organized in a way of where it's separated into parts by the husband. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's not chapters. It's literally just a whole entire section that's just, like, each husband.
It's just the section.
Yeah, and some of them are much longer than others.
Mm-hmm. And there's, like, articles from, like, magazines, like trash magazines, put throughout, and it's really fun.
Yeah. Yes, from when Evelyn was in the height of her popularity. Yeah. Evelyn grows up in a poor Cuban family in Hell's Kitchen in Manhattan. Yes, every time I read the book, when it brings up Hell's Kitchen, do I think of Daredevil?
I thought you were gonna say Gordon Ramsay.
That's the second thing I think of. So her mom dies when she's pretty young, leaving with her abusive father. Both her mother and her had a dream of being actresses, and this is where we get to her first husband. I think she's like 15.
She's 16. Yeah, no, 15.
And she's just coming into
she
herself.
might have been 14. Hold on.
Yeah, no, something like that. It's like something where she's hella young because she just hit puberty. Her breasts are coming in, which is like the main thing that people really loved her for, that she was skinny but had large breasts, right? That was her main sex appeal. And so the way she words it, it's heavily hinted that it was either this nice guy named Ernie Diaz and marry him, or stay with her father and accept the fact that he will probably try something before too long. Anyways, she tricks Ernie Diaz into marrying her because he's heading to Hollywood. I don't remember for what exactly. I think it's working on sets, but I don't know.
Yeah, he was working on, like, sets and stuff or something. I don't know.
She's like being the perfect at-home wife who, like, cooks for him and everything, and is like taking on not online courses. What the hell am I talking about? It's the 70s. Or 50s or whatever. She is taking, like, night classes or day classes sometimes. But she does it for acting. And then eventually gets in with Hollywood producers, including Harry Cameron at Sunset Studios. Harry is, you learn at this point in the book that Harry is one of the husbands.
Fine.
Yeah. So to get her first role, there is a much older producer, who's like in his 60s at the time. Again, she's like 15, 16. And his thing is to go down on beautiful young woman. Um, and
I'm
that's
in
how
his
she gets
fucking
her
book.
first role. Um, at first she's relegated to smaller parts because she's a Cuban woman. And so, uh, she dyes her hair blonde, loses her New York accent, and stops speaking Spanish. Uh, and starts telling a false story to the press about her past and all this stuff, right? To make her look more like the leading lady role. And then because the fact that she's Cuban and she's got a slightly darker skin tone, because of that, she looks slightly exotic, but not exotic enough where it's like, oh, we can't have you. It's more exotic enough where it makes her even more alluring and beautiful with the blonde hair. You see where, yeah.
Mhm.
So the Sunset Studios wants her to start publicly dating other actors to make her look better, especially like a whole thing where I think we all, as people who are on social media all the time, seeing your actors everywheres, a whole thing of like having rumors of actors who play leading roles in a romance or something like that, having rumors that they're dating
Yeah, the
makes
whole
good
weird thing
free
with
press.
Sydney Sweetie and that one guy in that
Yeah,
one movie,
yeah,
even
I
though
know
he
what
had
you're
his
talking about.
girlfriend and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, that was
Um,
crazy.
they got so much free press with that movie just with that possible scandal and like so funny. So, in order to do that, she divorces Ernie. And I think at the end of the Ernie section, she admits that Ernie was probably one of the better ones. Because he wasn't like he was never horrible to her. He gave her everything that he could. It just wasn't enough for her. And eventually, he found some nice woman who wanted everything he could give, and had kids and was happy. Right? Um,
That's so sad.
I know,
Like,
right? Justice for Ernie. After dating a few Hollywood actors, she falls for Don Adler, who is a fellow up and coming actor. I think he's like a nepotism baby, right?
yeah, he's a nepo baby.
Yep. Um, so they quickly get married. He's the second husband. He's my least favorite for
Mhm.
so many reasons. Second
Mhm.
least favorite is that one director. We'll get to him. Um, so they have the honeymoon period, but pretty quickly he starts physically abusing her.
Uh, Don Adler do something drastic challenge.
I know, right?
LOL.
um I don't know which marriage it's during, but one of the marriages they have a maid. I know there's a maid in this one. I don't remember which one this is though. Who happens to be Hispanic of some kind, right? um and it
I think
acts so
okay.
surprised that Evelyn can speak Spanish fluently.
Hear me out. They have the one maid that blabs, and then they get Louisa,
Okay, Louise is the one
and
after this one that
Louisa
is
follows
Dawn one. Okay.
Evelyn through the rest of everything until they move to
Yeah, and then
Spain.
I think it's Louisa's daughter or granddaughter who is Evelyn's current maid when um Monique is doing the interview. Like she's like considers her family part of her family type thing. Anyways, she still loves Dawn. I can't imagine leaving him, so she hides the abuse and continues to gain success in Hollywood. Obviously people notice, right? Um, what's his name? Harry notices. He's like her best friend, so he notices, and
Yeah.
he's all like, "Do I have to do something drastic, right?" And she's like, "Don't hurt yourself." And of course, like makeup artists and everything. Um, so she gets one of the leading roles. Of Joe.
The way the first time he hits her is like right before they have to go shoot a scene for a movie that they're starring in together.
I know, right?
In fucking phone.
So she gets the role of Joe in Little Woman. Um, and that's when she meets the actress Celia St. James. Now when yeah, when Celia is brought up, it's clear from Monique's point of view that there's something special about her history with Monique or with Celia, because her and Celia
She,
were on again, off again, best friends, and Evelyn's
yeah.
last husband was Celia's brother, and like at one point, one of her husbands and Celia's husband was best friends, like all this stuff. Um. Anyways, Evelyn is initially jealous of Celia's acting. There's like a whole thing where she tries to do all the stuff that what are you saying? Oh my god. Where Evelyn tries all the techniques that all these seasoned actresses did to her when she was up and coming. She tries to do that to Celia, and all this stuff. And Celia's like, I don't care about any of that. I don't care about specifically going to specific spots because it will look good for the paparazzi or any of that stuff. I just want to be your friend.
Mhm.
And so, that's how they become friends.
Hear me out. If a pretty lady talked to me the way Evelyn talked to Celia, I would have folded so fast.
Um, I think like half the actresses for Little Woman were up for Oscars, right? That year. And Celia happened to be the one to win. There was like this whole thing where Celia was telling Evelyn that she would win. There was also a whole thing when they were getting ready or something. Celia was like trying on her dresses or something. You know that thing when you have a crush on your girl, on a girl, and you try on each other's clothes, right? That's normal, right? Anyways, they're on a party. I think it's on a yacht after the Oscars, and one of the co-stars who's really jealous tells Evelyn that Celia is a lesbian, and that Dawn is cheating on Evelyn. Um,
They're literally in like a laundry room closet, right. And Ruby's just like, oh, you know that Celia's a dyke and your husband's getting a blowjob upstairs. And Evelyn's just like,
Anyways, Evelyn realizes she cares more about the fact that Celia is a lesbian than her husband is literally cheating on her. So when Celia comes
valid.
to find her, she's like, "Hey, is it true?" And she's like, "What does it matter?" And then they kiss. And then Evelyn catches Dawn getting some balloon.
He was getting dressed. They were already done.
Okay, I was gonna make a balloon animal joke or something. I don't know.
What the fuck?
I don't know. Don't ask my brain. Anyway, she leaves Dawn. Dawn files for divorce and has the studio backlist. Evelyn, there's also like a whole thing where their maid tells tells like paparazzi and whatnot that the reason why they don't have kids, because like the paparazzi is constantly asking when they're gonna have kids. Is that a baby
Well,
bump? All this
first
stuff.
off,
And the maid says that they don't have kids because Evelyn won't let Dawn have kids with her. And so they come out with this story that Evelyn has a miscarriage.
pause. No, because the first thing that the maid talked about was like how apparently Evelyn was like really just rude and stuff and didn't take care of anything
Mhm.
and stuff like that. And then she was like, oh. And then they were like, and wouldn't give Dawn kids. And then it was like, oh, here's this information for you. Do what you will. And then they fired her.
Yeah. So the studio blacklists her Evelyn, which is kind of an issue because Harry is a big person in the studio and her best friend. Her career flounders, but her romantic relationship with Celia begins. At this point, Monique asks Evelyn who the love of her life is, and she admits that it wasn't any of her 7 husbands. It was Celia. Uh,
I'm fine.
Monique does call her a lesbian, and I forget the exact quote, but it's iconic. And Evelyn's like, "Haven't you been listening to her? I'm bisexual. I like men and women."
Hell
Um.
yeah.
Okay. God.
Right, baby.
So we're not on a Max chap or on the Max section yet, but we do get introduced to my second least favorite husband, Max, in my third least favorite husband's section, which is Mick Riva. Right? To get her career back, Evelyn stars in a risque, successful French New Wave film by the director Max Gerard. Um, there's like this whole thing where she makes sure like they edit it so that like the last scene is her coming out of the water completely nude, and they cut it right before you can see her breast. Um,
We should also mention at this point in time that Celia and Evelyn are basically just living together.
yeah.
I'm
Um,
fine.
so because more eyes are on her now because of this, she's worried that she and Celia will be out in press. One of their many fights about this is about how Celia could technically do like find a fake man to like marry and whatnot, but for Celia or for Evelyn, it could be real. Like she still can be into men, um, and that is one of their issues about how Evelyn is bisexual and has had relations with men and enjoyed it. Meanwhile, Celia is a lesbian. Been there, done that. Sipping my coffee.
I
So
understand both sides of it, honestly. Because,
uh,
like, just,
see, in order to avoid the press and avoid this, because she's worried that people are catching on, Evelyn seduces, marries, and divorces rockstar Mick Riva to
the
create a
whole section when she did that was insane, honestly. The
so
way she was all
iconic.
stand out and crazy, like,
I wish my brain could work the way that hers does, honestly. Basically the way she does it is that she goes to a Mick Riva concert, right? And is very much like, oh my god, fangirl in the audience on purpose, knowing that he did an interview recently that if there was any woman he would try for love again with, it would be Evelyn Hugo. Seduces him, uh, like goes to Las Vegas, I think, with him. They are like heavily making out, and he's all like, want to go pound town, but she's like, no, 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 I can't do it with you because I won't do it unless if I'm married, right? So then they're in Las Vegas, might as well do a quickie marriage. And then there's this whole point where she explains where she's all like, in order to make them leave you, you have to make sure the sex is bad, and that it's not worth it to stay behind in the morning when they wake up and they're like, it's a mistake, and make it look like you're, even though this is everything you wanted, you have to make it look like you're begging for them to stay because that will make them feel disgusted in you and all this stuff. Just the way.
mhm.
Um. Anyways, Celia and her have an argument. Shortly after this because Evelyn's pregnant.
Yeah.
And Celia's like, you had sex with him? And Evelyn was like, I'm sorry, what did you expect? Right? Um, so Celia breaks up with her. Uh, Harry's the one that drives
Honestly,
her
I don't
to,
blame Celia for that.
yeah.
Especially because Evelyn got pregnant. Like,
Harry's the one that drives her to, I think it was Mexico to get an abortion, right?
Tijuana. Yep.
Um, and Evelyn and Celia don't talk for 5 years.
That's so long. Like,
I know, right? Um,
I'm fine. I'm so fine. Like, I'm.
I would like to know at near the end there is a quote where Celia says she wishes they hadn't wasted so much of their time being broken up or
Oh,
fighting. And I
yes,
remember writing in
please.
the margins, me too.
And I was crying about it, and you're just like, Evelyn, me too. And I'm like,
um, so in the present day, Monique's strange husband shows up at her house. And around this time, Evelyn has told Monique that between the Ernie romance and the Dawn romance a little bit, she talks about how, um, even if they're a great guy, if you don't have that passion, if you don't have that love, let them go because it's not worth it for both of you. Like, that's just keeping them around for what? And Monique realizes, one, hearing about Evelyn's great love, Cecilia, and also her relationship with Ernie and Monique's relationship with her husband, she recognizes this isn't her great love. This, like, it was a great love, but it's not anymore. She doesn't love him anymore. And so they are officially getting divorced. Yay. So, next marriage, we get Rex North. Pretty mid guy, honestly.
um,
So she's starring as Anna Karina Nana. That's how I pronounce it every time. I don't take any questions.
Anna Karenina.
Anna Karina Nana. I do own the book. I have it for like 5 cents. I bought it for 5 cents at a library sale. I do
Um,
plan to read it this year. I would like to remind you, War and Peace was one of my favorite books of last year.
you're there's something wrong in your
I
head.
know, right? So she marries her co-star Rex North to boost ticket sales. Um, which they have a lucrative false marriage, basically, where they can't get caught in affairs, but they can just be who they want to be with who they want to be with. Um, and part of that is they have a major three-picture deal. And it's like actually like a really happy marriage, like they're good friends, all this stuff. But Rex falls in love with someone else, and um, she's pregnant. So Evelyn's like, okay, I can't be like the girl you cheated on, so because that will look bad for me. So we have to cheat on each other, and so she sets it up so she's caught fanoogling in a car with Harry by the
Canoodling is such a
press,
good word, honestly.
and then And then they decide that, I think around this point, she knows that Harry is gay. Right? He's like, it's
Yeah,
different
she's known
for
for a while.
it's like different for you because you can be with someone um and be in a straight presenting relationship and no one will ever know. But also it's not as frowned upon for lady lovers as it is for male lovers. That's just a known thing. Um, so they decide to be each other's beards. She's like, I've married for love and passion. Why? And it's never worked out for me. Why don't I marry for friendship for once? Uh, and Harry is my favorite marriage. I would like everyone to know this. Um,
I agree, because what the fuck?
I still am not emotionally okay with the whole Harry situation, and I would like Taylor Jenkins Reid to know, fuck you.
I agree. We're in your walls.
Yes. Um, So Evelyn and Celia see each other at the Academy Awards. Um, they start
Ah!
talking. At this point, Celia has married, I think, a football player. Cough
Mhm.
cough. That football player happens to be Harry's lover.
LOL. Funny how things work out.
Yep. And Evelyn learns that, so I think they like meet up in the girls' bathroom and start heavily making out. And they get back together. So it's Evelyn
No,
and Celia,
pause.
Harry and
They start
John.
kissing. And then these ladies walk in. They don't even notice, and they back up, blah 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 blah. And then the ladies leave, and then they fucking make out like it's the door, and then they hook up in the fucking bathroom, and they go back out like nothing ever happened. I'm so fine.
um, so Harry and John is Celia's fake husband, and then Harry and John are together. Celia and Evelyn are together. They get like houses right next to each other, and they just look like they're beards for each other and all this stuff. But technically, Celia and Evelyn are living together, and Harry and John are living together. Um, Now this is where Evelyn decides she wants to have a family. She wants to have kids. Celia is like, cool. I don't want kids, right? I'll be like the cool aunt, but I don't want kids. And Evelyn's like, I will do it on my own if I have to. But here's the thing: she has a husband.
Mhm.
And here's the other thing. They question if they could do artificial insemination. But again, this is like the '60s, so like people would talk. It's not as much of a thing now, where like IVF and um issues, fertility issues are like a common thing. So artificial insemination is more common nowadays. Uh, but back then, not so much, and they couldn't have someone talk, so they bang away. Um, Celia isn't the happiest about that.
Like I get
I
it.
get
Like
it, but also Evelyn. Anyways, I have a daughter, named Connor, and
the only valid Connor. Every other Connor do something drastic challenge.
mhm. And they have a deep platonic love for each other. There's like a whole thing where like occasionally Evelyn and Cecilia will like break it off. And like the way that the whole situationship will change when Celia comes back, and like when she's gone, Harry is like the perfect father and all this stuff and takes care of Evelyn. But then when Celia comes back, he has to like push all of that aside so that Celia can take care of Evelyn, or else she feels jealous of Harry. And it's like this whole thing. Um.
When
Anyways,
did when did it happen when Celia won the award and then Evelyn kissed the TV and chipped her tooth? When did that happen?
I don't remember.
And then later on, in one of Celia's
I
speeches,
wanna.
she's
I
like,
wanna
I hope
say.
no one kisses the TV and chips their tooth tonight. That was before they got back together.
I wanna say that was before she got her career back.
Yeah,
So, yeah, I think it was like around the time of Mick Riva. Fuck Mick Riva. Anyways,
it
so
was after this, but
Evelyn
I know that.
decides,
I don't know.
she's a mother now, so she can't be a hot woman anymore, right? In media, like she's the old crone now, right? Um,
Sure, as
right.
if milk, man. I don't know.
I know, right? So in order to get her sex appeal back, she shoots a risque love scene, with Max Gerard again, right? He calls her up and he's like, "Hey, this is a great role for you." The whole entire role is about sexual empowerment for women and whatnot, and it happens to be her opposite is Dawn Adler.
Yeah.
And Evelyn doesn't bring it up to Cecilia until they've already recorded the very intimate sex scene. And then she's like, "Hey, is it
I
okay?"
have a problem with that. Hear me out.
She and she doesn't bring it up until after she's already done it. Goes to Cecilia and it's like, "Hey, is it okay if I do this?" And Cecilia's like, if you are sure about it, right?" And Evelyn's like, "Cool, thanks." And then she comes back like a day later and she's like, "Actually, I changed my mind. I feel weird about you having a sex scene with your ex-husband." Right? And Evelyn's like, "Yeah, I'm kind of too late. We already recorded it even before I asked you." And Cecilia feels betrayed and leaves Evelyn again. Um,
I think after this is when the tooth chipping happens.
I don't know. John dies of a heart
I don't know.
attack. So Harry starts
Oh my god, yeah.
filling the void with alcohol. And so
This is so sad.
in order to try to help him, she gets him involved in a Max Gerard film. And then they all win Oscars for it. Max reveals he's loved Evelyn for years and proposes. Um, and then Evelyn divorces Harry and marries Max. And Max, only to
Why?
discover that Max is only interested in the idea of Evelyn than the actual Evelyn. Like, who cares who the actual Evelyn is? Because the Evelyn on my arm is the only one that matters. Like, she's a piece of jewelry or something. Which breaks her
Boo!
heart. Um, so eventually, pretty quickly, Celia and Evelyn start writing letters back and forth. And
The
meet up,
letters, the
and
fucking
they
letters.
decide to give their relationship another try. I think Max finds the letters around this point and is all like, "Hey,
He finds
you're a
the letters.
dyke," and says a bunch of homophobic shit and says that he's gonna tell everyone. And she's like, "Okay," and then you'll be known as the guy who married a lesbian, even though I'm not actually a lesbian, but you'll be known as the guy who married a lesbian, and nobody will actually believe you. Do you know how many husbands I've had? Like, iconic.
No, because the way he found the letters as she was going to get on a plane to see Celia, like,
Uh huh.
she's like, I don't know, like, she was going back and forth and taking the letters with her, and then she decides against taking them with her, so she leaves them in her closet, LOL, behind her furs, LOL, and then she goes back in for something, and it's just like, oh my god.
Mhm. Now, at this point, Celia is dying of emphysema. She's dying
Emphysema.
and has less than a decade to live. And she wants to live her final years in Spain. Right.
This is horrible. This whole I
I know
can't.
this is the section. So Harry doesn't want Evelyn to move Connor to Spain for obvious reasons. Especially since
Well,
he's found a new man and has fallen in love.
LOL.
And then he ends up
Wonder where that could go.
getting in a car crash. The other man dies, right? Um, Harry is drunk driving at the time. Evelyn gets her driver to help her get Harry into the car, into their car, and move the man that he was with. Because if they're found with Harry one drunk driving, but two with another man in the car who is his lover, you know. Um, so she puts the other man in the driver's seat, and then takes Harry to the hospital where he dies. Um, there's this whole thing where the driver's like for payment wants to become an actor, and so she's like, "Okay, I'll call some people up, but you actually have to have this skill and get yourself done." And he actually is a well-known actor at this point. Um,
I'm
um,
fine. I'm so fine.
and this is when Evelyn reveals to Monique that the man who died in the car crash was Monique's father.
Yeah. The first time I read that, I read it. I did not see that coming at all, and I was like, oh my god. The whole time I was
Yep,
just like screaming, crying, throwing up, and then that happened. I was like, what the fuck is happening?
yep. And then around this point, this is also when she learns that Evelyn. The whole reason why she's doing this is because Evelyn is dying. And this is
Yeah.
her the all the money that Monique will get from this book, which is like millions of dollars, right? Uh is her recompense for all that shit. Anyways, the way when Monique's like, "Wait a second," Evelyn's like, "You know, they do say that breast cancer is genetic," and yeah, it's a really sad scene. Um
No, it's just the fact that Connor died of it before Evelyn was dying of it. It just makes it worse.
I know, right? And then Monique leaves and is like, "We'll finish this tomorrow," and Evelyn's like, "Yeah, sure, Jan." Monique, mother is visiting, and she asks her mother about her relationship with her father, right? And she says it wasn't like this great passion romantic, right, relationship, but very much like Evelyn and Harry, it was a friendship. Like it was someone who understood you to your soul type relationship. And around this point, Monique realizes that Evelyn is going to take manner into her own hands. The way that she sent that morning, she sent her maid slash assistant to go on vacation with her whole family that Evelyn paid for like a month or something, and all this other stuff. Evelyn is gonna kill herself.
Yeah.
And so Monique tries to decide between calling the police and saving Evelyn or letting her die on her own terms. Evelyn's seventh husband is Celia's brother, right? That's who her seventh husband is, so that she can leave everything to Evelyn, right? By basically everything going to her brother, and then her brother giving it to her in the divorce, right? That's how it works out, and he ends up being a really great stepfather to Connor, and all this stuff.
I'm fine about that. I'm so fine about that. Also, can we talk about the fact that Connor was 14 and Evelyn caught her having a threesome?
Yeah, that was a whole thing. That was another reason why they moved to Spain. Also, Evelyn loved living in Spain because she was able to talk Spanish again, and nobody would like question her or anything. Like people were just
Crying.
like, yeah, she would just like felt accepted, and like nobody was watching her constantly. Anyways, Celia got buried in the same graveyard Harry was, and so paparazzi caught her crying around the time that she was divorcing Celia's brother, crying at the graveyard. And everyone just assumed she was crying over her dead husband while she's divorcing her current husband. That's weird. That's suspicious. But she was actually crying over Cecilia or Celia. I
Yeah,
don't know why I keep on calling her Cecilia.
I mean, her real name is Cecilia.
I know, but still. Anyways, the book ends with an article about Evelyn. The article announcing the biography and revealing that Evelyn was bisexual.
Yeah, because the last sentence is Monty's like, people talk about you and like, no, you're being known to your husbands, and she's like, well, I'm Evelyn Hugo. Those are just husbands. I think they'll be more interested in my wife, and I'm just like, yeah, we are.
Yeah, they did like a whole private ceremony in Spain. Like, it was this whole thing. Very Gentleman Jack, end of season 1. I haven't seen season 2, but
I've never even seen that show. You consume so much media.
I
It's
know,
scary.
dude. I
It's
remembered
scary.
The Boys season. I think 4 comes out tomorrow as well. I haven't even finished season 3 because there's very intense scene where people were eating shellfish, and it was the sound design in that scene was too good that I had to stop watching, and I haven't continued since. I have watched Gen
Well,
V though, which is the spin-off. I loved Gen V. Anyways, that's Evelyn Hugo, the bisexual queen,
we love Evelyn Hugo, and
and all her
I
green.
think
Oh
yes,
my god, I'm
I agree.
titling that. I'm calling it the bisexual queen and all her green.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. No, because like I love character. I like when things are character based. Like, and and I love when characters are represented as real people, and they're messy, and they make fucked up decisions because they have to, because sometimes that's just life. And I guess you could call Evelyn Hugo morally gray to some people, right? Like she's done really bad things, but she's also done really good things. And I'm fine about this book. I'm so fine and normal about Evelyn Hugo. Okay,
Okay.
like
Um, but yeah, that was the book. It's depressing. It's sad. I did almost cry when I was talking about all the Harry stuff at the end. We don't need to talk about it. Oh my god, is this a quiz on which Greek god are you?
oh my god,
I'm taking it right now. This is a important moment. Take the
oh my
quiz.
god, it's not.
I'm sending it to you also.
I'm crying over Evelyn Hugo, and you're like, oh my god, what great god am I? I say,
uh,
not about to open a quiz and take it with you right now.
Which of these qualities best describes you? Logical, fun, sarcastic, or honest? Logical or honest? I don't know. Bessie, am I logical or honest?
Logical.
Okay, thank you.
Which one describes me best?
Sarcastic.
Yeah.
Which person are you in the friend group? You're the
You're
funny
the mom
one.
friend. No, you're the mom friend. I don't care.
I'm the mom friend. It's so funny because Bessie's also the mom friend.
You're literally my mother. I'm the funny one.
I said that. What's your greatest weakness? I fall in love with anyone who pays attention to me.
How can I pick all of the above?
If you were trapped on a desert island and could only bring one thing, what would it be? Favorite book, a friend, a raft, a fishing net, a weapon, sunscreen. I want to say favorite book, but my real answer is gonna be weapon. My greatest
I was like
strength.
sunscreen.
Sunscreen was my second option, so it's okay. Sure, let's go with creativity as a great strength. Pick an animal. Dog.
Listen, for me, I could just reread the Wicker King in my head at this point, so I don't need to bring the Wicker King with me.
Live forever but continue to age, or stay physically young but only live for another 40
I'm
years.
behind. Hold on.
Can I do neither? Can I just die now? Like, why do I have to choose between these?
Okay, so I'm 20. 40 plus 20 is 60.
Yeah.
How's the aging? Is the aging slowed down? Like, what are the logistics of the situation?
You know, I'm thinking of Jack Harkness from Doctor Who, and eventually he gets to the point where he's aged so much that he's just a giant head. And with that, I'm just gonna live for another 40 years. I give up. I'm Athena, hell yeah.
Let's see. I'm Hermes?
That's so accurate, though. I love that.
How is that accurate?
I'm not explaining. Which great god should I date? Hell yeah, let's go. This is why I shouldn't go on
relaying messages, you also lead souls of the dead into the underworld. You're busy. Yeah, I guess that's accurate. Yours is accurate, though. Oh my god, are we really about to do this? Is this what we're doing for the rest of this episode?
Yeah.
Are we leaving this in?
Oh yeah. I'm attracted to all 4 of these. Especially if they're women.
Not the guys. What are... That's rude.
Sweet shy boys, I guess. I don't know.
Which one do you think I'm picking?
Abs, because that could be hinted at being a woman with abs, and if you met a woman with abs, you would just die right there. You would just deconstruct.
I mean, you're not wrong, but that's not what I'm choosing.
Okay. Which Harry Potter boy would make the best boyfriend in Pride Month? In Pride Month? Obviously, I want to click Severus Snape for the joke, but I'm going to click Neville Longbottom.
No, who are these bitches? None of them. Like, I know who they are, but, like, I'm going to pick Cedric, because isn't that played by Robert Pattinson?
I think so.
What's the fault you can live with?
None
of these. Wildness.
That's what I was going to choose, too. Best pet? I want to say dolphin. Okay. Me, a person afraid of water, saying dolphin really says a lot about our friendship. I say as I'm talking to a fish.
A guy who loves you obsessively. Oh.
I want a steady, lifelong commitment. I'm 25 years old. I started almost quoting.
I'm not 25 years old, but you know.
I started almost quoting
similar things at different ages. Anyways, which Avenger should I pick? I'm picking the Hulk because he's green.
Okay, I was gonna either say the Hulk or Thor because there is one line in Thor Ragnarok. Also, I think you would love Thor Ragnarok, but there is one line in Thor Ragnarok where he's like, "I love women sometimes too much," and that's so you coded. I'm also choosing the Hulk. I love the Hulk, Bruce Banner.
That is very me coded, and it's kind of pathetic.
I love how in this question you end up in Kit Carter's room.
I'm sorry, what? Oh.
You wind up in your dream dude's room to watch a movie. Oh, what does it look like? what his room looks like. I thought they were talking about the movie. I don't know this one. I just choose one randomly. If my boyfriend wants to keep dating other people, that would be
Oh!
me. As someone who went through a relationship where a man told me that he was going to start seeing other people, I'm going to go with that's a deal breaker. I
I
do count
agree.
that as cheating because that is not polyamory. That is someone saying they're going to be poly and you have to deal with it. Um,
What
anyways,
did you get?
I got Hephaestus.
I got Hades. I'll be surprised.
That's so funny. I almost choked on my coffee. Um, I was
What
like
did your
thinking of
description say?
what's his name? Timmy something who plays. Is that even his name? Uh, who plays Hephaestus in the episode of
No,
Percy
I don't know that guy's
Jackson?
name.
Timothy Amundsen. I was thinking of him. He plays Hephaestus in the show of version of Percy Jackson, and I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm down.
What did your description say?
In a pantheon full of perfect beauty, Hephaestus is usually depicted as an ugly duckling. I just realized that Katie Robert I just finished reading is with Hephaestus. Anyways, a shy craftsman more comfortable in the volcano workshop than having grapes fed to him by on Olympus. You know, if he's working out shirtless or
Oh my god.
crafting shirtless in the workshop. Anyways, he's the perfect guy if looks and charisma are less important to you than a good heart and honest disposition. Okay, true. Just be nicer to him than Aphrodite and you'll have his love forever. Okay, I'm down. Oh my god, does this mean Leo's my son?
Is that your favorite child?
Yeah, that is my favorite child. I love that child. That child is just the perfect child. I love that child so much.
He
I should
really
really
is.
finish that series. I
Yeah,
have
you should.
one more book.
Anyways,
I
I'm
am
gonna read
planning.
my description.
I'm planning for it next month. Don't worry.
Sure you are. You're drawn to guys from the dark side, like a come to my kingdom under the ground, never to see the sun again, dark side. That means that Hades, the moody god of the underworld, is your dude. Sure, he can be a little possessive. Once you let the Stockholm syndrome work its magic, the broody lord of the dead is actually pretty sweet.
Beauty and the Beast who. Anyways, I would like to share with you the photo that is the reveal photo for mine. Um and that's kind of iconic.
Mine's pomegranates, obviously. Ah.
It's a metal rose on an anvil with uh the workshop
A hammer.
hammer. Yeah. Um
It's meant to be. It's truly meant to be.
that's so funny. I love that. The way we always go off the rails somehow. How did we do
The
this?
way you use that as your the picture, and then like mine's just like Stockholm syndrome. He never see the sun again. I'm like, hell yeah. Are we okay?
I don't think so, but that's fine.
I'm sorry, but if a pretty girl locked me in her basement, I don't think I'd complain about it.
Why? Oh my god.
I need help. I already locked myself in the basement anyways. We don't even have a basement. I live in Texas.
We don't talk for like 3 days and this is what happens. Oh my god, the way I was looking at this other Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo summary thing, and just let me quote: Rex impregnates his girlfriend, and I just saw the word impregnates, and my brain went, ew.
I agree.
Oh, I keep on seeing TikToks and Instagram reels that are like, you are breedable and whatnot,
You're
and
so readable and submissive, yeah.
yeah, you're like so attractive and breedable, and I just go ugh, every time. Um, and I don't know why they're on my For You page. I want to get out.
Listen, my Explorer page is concerning, and it's different, and like, I don't know. Sometimes it gets a little, you see the shit I send you. Think about the shit I don't send you.
Alright, you done with this episode? Do you have
I
anything else
guess
to
so.
say?
Did it record?
I sure hope so.
Because we were so funny. If it
This
didn't
was
record, I'm gonna kill
hilarious,
myself.
actually. I can't wait to record it tomorrow when I take a break from Bridgerton.
You can't wait to record it
I
tomorrow when
mean,
you take your
edit
break?
it. Shut up. Let me live my life. Who are you, my mom?
No, you're my mother. What do you think this is? I thought that was established. You're a single mom who works 10 jobs.
And all of them are this podcast. Oh my god. Anything else to say for this podcast? Should I promote it?
Yes.
Okay. Rose recently uploaded a very funny vlog that features her dog, so you should watch that. Links below to both of us. If you are watching on the YouTube channel, up above in the cards will be the Malibu Rising episode, since that is interconnected with this book, right? I'll put that up really in the very beginning of the episode. Graphics made by a fish who didn't
Did you
swim.
like it?
Yeah,
Did you like the one? Okay.
who didn't swim to my house to pet my dog, so
I'm sorry. It's a long swim.
I know it is. Why am I like this?
I don't know. That's a very good question.
Oh, and I'm gonna end this episode off because I finally remembered that wood joke about my college boyfriend's penis that I made while we were playing Stardew Valley when we were in the mines, and the fish got one wood from a crate, and the fish said, "I don't wood. I don't want this." And I said, "Me with my college boyfriend." Thank you for coming to this podcast. I'm ending it. Goodbye. Do you have anything else to say?
No.
Thank you.